Ending Racism One Brushstroke at a Time by Nelson Carpentier.
In the past couple of months, the issue of race has been making its way into the news. For example, the recent Trayvon Martin case, in which a 17-year-old African American was wrongfully killed by a white neighborhood watchman known as George Zimmerman. Nothing gets past Zimmerman, not even Skittles and iced tea. No matter the story, the white guys always end up on top. However, this isn't anything new. In fact, things like slavery have been prevalent ever since the ancient Greeks, who made slaves of those who differed significantly from the norms. That's not to say that racism has never been dealt with before. Modern-day advocates against racism follow in the footsteps of great people such as Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. However, the fact that both these people ended up being assassinated proves that this issue is not without its fair share of controversy. Though it may seem a little crazy, there are people that believe racism is no longer an issue. The go-to argument for many of these people who live in America is that racism can't exist because we have a black president. However, one quick look at Twitter during the most recent presidential election would show more than enough racist tweets to prove my point. The bottom line is that racism is still an issue, and the sooner it is solved, the better. So, the big question now isn't so much, is racism an issue? Rather, what can we do to end racism? Humans have already proved that we cannot deal with diversity, especially when it comes to skin color. Therefore, if people don't assimilate with different races, we just need the different races to assimilate into one for them. Cutting to the chase, everyone in the world needs to be painted purple. Now, there will probably be some Debbie Downers out there saying this clearly violates our First Amendment rights. Though this is true, it is the lesser of two evils. It's like what my mom used to say to me when I did something really bad. Maybe you should have thought of that before you were racist. Environmentalists may also have a slight problem with the solution, as it would most likely turn all the world's ocean purple. However, they have to look at it like I would look at it. I would rather be in a boat with my purple buddy surrounded by purple water as opposed to in a boat with a racist surrounded by crystal clear blue water. The final and probably most important group who would have a problem with this solution would probably be the tanning industry. Though tanning is exactly like paying for skin cancer, who can argue that sun-kissed skin isn't worth it? For this extremely important group, I have designed a solution that leaves both parties equally happy. Tanning salons would be allowed to sell a slightly darker purple paint, which could be applied via the spray tan machines to give customers that dark purple skin that makes the ladies melt. Though this idea is great, it would take a lot of work for this idea to be put into practice. Not only does the United States government have to pass it into law, but the whole world must put it into practice in order for it to work. This would be done by somebody much, much smarter than me, as I'm just the genius coming up with the ideas. That being said, once this really smart person passes it as a law throughout the world, enforcement would be relatively easy. Anyone who is not painted purple would be labeled as a racist. Not only that, this person would face a hefty fine of about 10% of their income, as well as at least a year of jail time. Now comes the difficult question of what to do with all the money coming in from those who are non-compliant. First, the expenses of the implementation of the law would be paid off. After that, the fines would go directly towards bringing down the world's debt. For example, fines from Americans would go directly towards bringing down the $16 trillion deficit. All in all, painting everyone's skin purple seems like a terrible hassle just to rid the world of racism. However, it seems like the only viable option we have left. Any other attempt to rid the world of racism would first have to rid the world of xenophobia, or the fear of boredom. During society's obsession with xenophobia would require an open mind and a sense of considerateness to those who are different. This would simply be impossible. How can anyone possibly expect to see a person of a different race as an equal rather than a lesser human being? How could we possibly move on as a civilization if certain skin colors do not come with a whole bunch of unprecedented burdens? Bottom line, the only solution to racism at this point is the solution explained in this video. After all, the end goal of all this would be to end racism, which is exactly what the solution would do.